right there.
I don't care if I look pretty or not.
Yeah. Well, you have.
Okay.
Watch out.
Am I muted?
Yeah.
Okay, KW Montgomery, how may I help you?
And she's not.
It's okay. Yeah. There you go.
All right. God, I look old.
Don't we though? Then you can start video.
Okay. Okay, I think I got this. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. So just two of us? Three of us. I see. Three. Well, four if we count D, but. Okay, well, I'm just going to go on and get started since we just have 30 minutes. I'm Kim McElroy, and let me tell you a little about myself. I've been an agent for 21 years. I still feel like a new agent because I still learn something new all the time. But I guess I'm not a new agent anymore, and I'm looking old and I'm feeling old. So there you go. Let's see. Slade and I do this together, husband and wife team. We have three boys. We raised three boys, but they're all grown now. We have two grandbabies and we have two on the way. So that's a little about me. Okay. Started on listings. Slade says to let you introduce yourself. So Erica, you want to unmute and y'all can unmute if you want. So
Sure. I was just muted because I have two little fur babies in here and I didn't want to interrupt.
Okay.
But yes, I'm actually a brand new agent and I still have a full-time job as a reading specialist in public education. So I am working on finding that balance between learning everything and, building my sphere of influence. And I've seen your name quite a bit. It's been inspiring to see a husband-wife team because my husband is taking classes soon. So we'll be
Good.
a husband-wife team as well. And
That's awesome.
yeah, I think I signed on in January and I try to attend as many trainings as I can. And this week we're on spring break. So I'm just excited that I can catch everything.
Good. Good. Okay. Who's
Yeah.
next? Gerald? Gerald, you want to introduce yourself? No. Kathy, you want to introduce yourself?
Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, Gerald, I can hear you now. Am I supposed? I don't think I'm unmuting you, am I?
No, you're not.
Well, yes, Gerald, I just can't hear you.
You.
No, I don't think he's. Wait. Okay, now try.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know what's going on with my audio when I plug in my my earbuds. I guess it distorts my audio. But good morning. I'm Gerald Davis. I've been with Keller Williams Montgomery for 1 year now. I work full-time with the Army National Guard as a state coordinator, doing military funeral honors. That job is very, very demanding. I didn't realize the full nature of it until I got into it. But yeah, it's so much. It takes a lot. But that's why I try to get on these calls, these Zooms, and try to learn as much as I can. So when I have a chance to get out there and do some things that I can take full advantage of. But I really appreciate this, learning from you all. Yeah, I follow you and your husband, and everybody else who I can, who who's got a good foot in the game. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Great. Okay, who else? Kathy, you want to go? This is taking too long. Hey, okay, so let's just get started, okay? Because we only have 30 minutes. And anyway, listing appointment, you get the listing appointment. So I'm just going to kind of walk you through what I do. And then any of my pamphlets, anything of mine that you want me to send to you after this, if you will email me, I will send you back my Home Buying 101 or resume, just whatever, you want. Okay. So the first thing I do is I get if I get, like, I'm going to walk you through one that I just did. I went to the listing appointment yesterday. So I had someone contact me. Their kids want to sell a patio home. So the first thing I did was contact them. You're going to contact these people immediately. Stop what you're doing. Walk outside of that restaurant. Now, I know you have to have personal time, but as soon as possible, you want to follow up with a lead. So I stopped what I was doing last Sunday and made this phone call back, talked to the owner just a little bit, got her email address. Immediately that day, I told her I would do it that day. I did it that day. It's very important to do what you say you'll do. If you can't do it that Sunday afternoon, but you can talk to them, say you'll have it by end of day Monday. All right. So just do what you say you'll do. But what I did was contacted her, got her email address, and then I sent her everything I could about her property and about me, because a lot of a listing or a buyer is the rapport they establish with you. So I really want them to know me immediately. Okay. Just absolutely, positively, I want them to feel like they know me. So I send our resume. Slade and I have a resume, and no matter what you're doing, you have a resume that will help you in real estate. We have a home selling 101, and I send them that, and it is just a simple, very plain English, almost condescending, but not really. But I tell people, if this is not your first rodeo, this is a good review. And if it's not, it's good to read over this to know what you're going to do this first time that you sell a house. So I send them that, and then I send them everything I can find on their home, their tax records, their old MLS sheets, their old history, and then I send them their comps. So I do this before I probably ever meet them. All right. And it tends to get my foot in the door. All right. So that's what, and we'll go back and review these things in a little bit. Okay. But I just want to get out there what I do. So I do that, and I set up a time to come and visit the home. And so this particular house, this particular patio home, we had an appointment for Saturday. Not Saturday, something had come up, and so we moved it to Sunday. Then I went and visited. Hang on a minute, guys, Slade, it's coming across on here. Internet connection is, it's gone now, but you may have to look at my internet connection. Okay, so I hope you guys can hear me. You guys unmute if you can't or something. But, oh, yeah, well, they'll have to unmute to tell me. Okay, sorry about that. Then when I go to the home, I'm very candid. I'm very blunt. This particular house had a couple of things that needed doing. And I told the tenant, and I said, you know, the owner may do some of this to sell it. Some of it you might do, like cleaning the carpets. You know, I think the tenant could step up and do that if they're good friends, the tenant and the owner. So, you know, we talked about that. It needed some yard work done before we could take pictures, and it needed paint. We'll have to do. Because the painting that's needed is not the fault of the tenants. The tenant is keeping it nice and clean. And if it hadn't been for these 4 items, we could have listed it this week. So I told that. Then I came home and I bluntly emailed the owner what needed to be done. But if the owner had been in the house, we would have talked about these things and worked out how we were going to get them done. But in a time frame. But I'm having to go through a tenant, so that's what we did. And so as soon as we get these things worked out, then I will schedule a time for the photographer to come, and the photographer will come, take pictures. We'll list it the next day. So that's kind of, in a nutshell, what I do. Photographer comes. I ask that they sign my listing paperwork before the photographer comes because I pay for the photographer. And that way I have this is a script I use. I have a little skin in the game if I pay for those photographs, and he does a great job. And we decide on the list date. I send them the paperwork, a weekend beforehand so they can look over them at their leisure, especially if they work and, they might need the weekend before to look over them. And then we put it in the, MLS and list it. So that's kind of what I do in a nutshell. Okay. Any questions so far?
I had a question in the chat box. So I know you mentioned before that you discussed some things that they may need to do to the home, like cleaning carpet or landscaping.
Mhm.
Do you have that conversation on your first meeting, or do you just kind of get a feel for when the right time is to say those things?
No, you can just leave it like that, I think. I do it right when I meet them. There is this is just Kim's opinion, but in real estate, there is no reason to not hit the nail on the head. So I tell them as soon as I'm there, and I let them know that I'm going to be blunt about what needs to be done. And understand, like, I've already given them numbers, and I gave them top dollar numbers, and they know this is top of the market. In order to get top of the market, I come in then and I tell them what needs to be done. So yes, I told the tenant and the owner are best friends. And the tenant wants to move to Birmingham to be with where the best friends are. So this is all very amicable, nobody's kicking anybody out or anything. So, the tenant knew the 4 things I was going to tell them that needed doing. So there was one more thing. There was a couple of the doors don't close really good, and they just need to make sure they latch. I just think that's important before we put it on the market, So anyway, does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? No? Okay. So let's go back up.
Hey, Kim,
Yes.
I don't know if you can see me or not, but anyway, what I was going to say is that, yes, I take the same approach with my listings. And one of the scripts that I love is I would rather tell you the truth now than disappoint you later. And we have one opportunity to make a first impression on this property. And recently I had a seller contact me on a property that I had that was already under contract, but she decided to list with me, and she decided to list with me solely on the fact that she had seen the listing, she had seen my pictures, she liked the way I presented the property. So I think it's always important to remember that when we're when we're having these conversations with people and we're putting things, make sure that we realize that we're advertising to other people as well. But yeah, I'm with Kim. Have those fierce conversations, because later when their house doesn't sell, or if it stays on the market a little bit longer and you go around and you say, well, you know, you might have should have did, you know, it might have helped if you did this, or if you had power washed they don't want to hear all that. So Kim's right. Do it in the beginning.
Okay, so
Okay,
any other
Kim,
questions?
Kim,
Yes,
yes, I have a question. So I heard you say that you send information out before you actually go on the
I
appointment.
do.
So I hear a lot of people say, you know, you get your listing presentation together. So is that like your listing presentation part of it that you sent prior to your visit? So you don't have to have that with you when you go on the appointment?
Yes, but it depends on like yesterday I was going to see a tenant. So the only thing I brought with me, I'll show you, was a folder with their address on it. But on the inside of the folder, I write down everything good about the house, like features and all. And then you see over here, 4 things that need doing. So I take notes when I go to the house. Now, if the owner was going to be there, I probably would have printed every single thing I'd already sent them and put it on paper. And if the owner was going to be there, I probably brought a blank net sheet too, so we could play with some numbers if they wanted to. You know,
Okay.
if
Yeah.
they said, if I gave them these 4 things to do, if these people come back to me, because I've emailed them, if they come back to me and say, I don't want to do these things, then I'm going to say, then your price is not in the 140s. Your price is now going to be in the 130s, and you're probably going to get in the 120s, because a buyer is going to automatically assume that the repairs that are needed are going to be more than they are actually going to be.
Right.
Case in point, somebody wanted a repair done to one of our listings last week, and they said they wanted it done, or they would take $3,500 off the price and do it themselves. The repair is probably a couple of $100. So,
Right.
so no, we're not going to give up $3,500. It's so much easier, you know, like this. I wish we had addressed it up front. So anyway, it's easier. You have, and you can tell this a script to your sellers. You have a lot more control over what is done before you put it on the market. After you put it on the market, you're probably using licensed contractors. And I mean for the painting, okay? Like these people could come in and paint themselves. Now, I'm never suggesting that you, an owner, do an electrician's work. That's not what I mean. There are so many things that the seller can do themselves beforehand that there will be no red flags, and there will be no red flags, and no nothing. I mean, it'll just move smoothly because it's already been repaired, you know?
Right.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. Well, I'm going to back up then, and I'm going to go back to our resume. Okay. Because I think a really big part of a listing presentation and, you know, securing your listings is the rapport you start with these people. So first of all, you're going to be honest at this meeting. But secondly, and you can be honest and be nice. Like when I say I'm blunt, that doesn't mean that I go in there and, you know, I'm very nice about it. But a lot of the listing presentation is selling yourself. That's just a big part of real estate is selling yourself. So a resume. I want to make all of you have a resume because you would be surprised how many listing appointments I've won because I had a resume. Nobody does it. So you guys do it. And every year in January, when we're a little bit slow, you redo it. Every January we redo ours. So, and I say that, and I think Slade still hasn't redone ours. But on our resume, on maybe he has, he's looking at me funny. On your resume, put down everything that you are proud of yourself right this minute. Gerald, you have a very tough job. If you can do that, you can sell real estate. So that's what you want to sell yourself. And if you've been in business, you know, my first resume said, and I still have some of it on this one, but my first resume said, I've worked for Gayfers for 20 years. I've been a business person for 20 years. I'm just stepping up and selling a different type item, but I've been successful for 20 years in business. I can be successful for you now. And that was the beginning of that was my first resume. I just sold myself at what I was good at doing. And I also put on there, I did also on my first resume, we were Prudential Ballard Realty. We had about 80 agents. And I put on my resume that if I didn't know the answer, I had a backbone of 80 agents that I could fall back on and ask, you know. So if I didn't know the answer, I'd know it in 5 minutes. And I used those other agents, and you guys use me, use Katie. I mean, Kathy Williams, you've been in real estate as long as I have. So absolutely use us when you need a question answered. We've got time for you. But I sold myself based on my company and what I had done before. And so still do that, you know. At the bottom of our resume right now, it says we've been married. Okay, it has not been updated, or this one hasn't. It says we've been married for over 40 years. We've raised 3 young men. We both graduated from Auburn. And we've been real estate partners for 14 years. So everything add a year to that, okay? And so in saying that, I don't put this on the resume, but in saying that, it says, I can stay in a relationship for 40 years. I've raised 3 boys. I can do anything. And that's what you want your resume to say. I can do anything, okay? So that's our resume. Then, okay, I printed these things so I would have them. I'm not computer savvy, all right? Slade is, thank goodness. But our little home selling 101 is something I wrote myself years ago because I felt like there were lots of times I'd sold someone a house, but they bought a house. They had never sold one themselves. And I just felt like they needed a little guide. So this, my little 101 first says, okay, remember I told you, first thing you got to do is sell yourself. The first thing on my home selling 101 is choose an agent. Choose an agent wisely. And it's got a list of reasons why you choose an agent and why you would choose me. All right. And I'll at the top of this, and like I say, if you email me, I'll send you this copy. You're not going to want to copy mine verbatim. You're going to want to write yours to say what you want it to say. But I have up there, I like things short and sweet. So it says at the top of my home buying 101, 4 things. There are 4 things you need to know selling a house: choosing an agent, preparing your house, pricing it, and marketing it. And that's it. Short and sweet. So I have 4 sections: choose an agent, things you can do to prepare your home. So I've already set this, I've sent this to them before I meet them. So they already know the things they need to do. Pricing and what happens if you price it wrong. And then the marketing, the things that I'm going to do to get their house sold. All right. And then at the very back, I have like our promise. And our promise literally, don't laugh, y'all. Our promise is the fair house, not fair housing, the what are the 7 things, Slate? Okay, y'all, I forgot where they come from, but you know, like Bryn teaches them as fresh corn. What is that? You know what I'm talking about. You learn it in every code of ethics class or one that we have to take every time. Oh, y'all, I can't believe
Protected
it.
classes.
Huh?
Protected classes.
No, it's not protected classes. Let me tell you, fresh corn. Oh, no, not fresh. Okay, look, this is something that's just out there that all of us do. Okay. Our promise is to keep you informed, to be your advocate during the negotiating process, to treat you fairly and honestly, to be accountable to you in all things, to exercise reasonable care and due diligence, to be
Your
loyal and obey all lawful requests of our clients. Vicky, what is this?
fiduciary duties.
Thank you. It's just the fiduciary duties. And you guys, it sounds so good and looks so good on here, but all of us are supposed to be doing this. Yeah, it does come from Code of Ethics. And I just write it down and tell my clients what my fiduciary responsibilities are. But it looks good. It looks really good. So basically, that's what I do. And look at that. It's 9 o'clock. So there are a couple things. I can tell you one script that I use all the time if I'm sitting in front of someone and the house is fabulous or not, but if the house is fabulous, I'll usually say, I want this listing. This is a great listing. So one of my scripts is, I want this listing. Make that come out of your mouth however it comes out, but I want them to know I'm not just there shooting the breeze. This is a great listing. I would love to help them. And so I want this listing. And then I'll put down here that I want to talk about objections, but you guys, I don't usually have that many objections. I'm just going to tell you, once in a while, someone will try to beat you up on commission. And, you know, there are a lot of smart alecky things you can say back. There are a lot of things I'd like to tell you, but, you know, I wouldn't do that. I would just say, typically what I usually say is, I'm really good at what I do. If you want the best, hire me. And so, you know, or I talk enthusiastically. Sometimes I'll say, I love what I do. You know, you want me to represent you, and this is what I charge. And so, you know, I don't lose very many.
Yeah, that's a great point, Kim. And one of the things that I don't know if everybody on the call here knows this, but I'm the chair of the education committee. And so one of the things that we decided to do is continue these Mondays. It'll vary a little bit when we start at night, but that is one of the things that we have to cover on one of the Monday calls is actually overcoming objections and actually doing scripts. But that's a great point, Kim.
Good, good. Well, never sell yourself short, okay? Because you are good at what you do, or you wouldn't be doing this, okay? So just, there you go.
Can we
Any
have
other
your email?
questions?
Can we have your email address so that we can email you for the document?
Sure. Kim McElroy at kw.com.
Put it in the chat box.
Oh, I guess I could put that in
Hang on.
the chat box if I knew how to do that. Hank, bear with me. I was on the chat box.
Okay.
So do I just? Oh, I don't know what I did. Did I leave it? Sorry. They know I can't.
Quit pushing buttons.
There I am. Okay. Sorry about that.
You were always there. There you go.
At kw.com.
She really is good at what she does, just saying.
I didn't say I was computer savvy. I think I said I wasn't. All right. And speaking of that, I'm going to leave you on one little note. I love having a kw.com email address because it says you're professional. Okay. We have a Gmail account. I have a Knowledge account that I use for some personal things, but KW is what I tell people. It's easy and it says I'm in real estate. And the other thing I want to tell you, I told you you have to have a rapport with these people. Put your face everywhere you can. Slade and I put it on our signs, and y'all, our signs are like $25 a piece. So if you ever have questions about that, if you call me, I'll talk you through it or what we do. But if you put your sign on your card and you give them to people, they feel like they already know you. I've walked into houses that it wasn't my listing, but they had my calendar that I sent them on their, I mean, to me, that's still a compliment that they would leave me up and list with someone. So, you just be really surprised how putting your picture on there, they know you. Okay. And you want other agents to know you. You want clients to know you. You want other people's clients to know you. Because when you write an offer and there are 2 or 3 offers, oh, we know her. Yeah, we may take her offer. And I've had people take my offers because they called another agent and the other agent said, work with her. So, just doesn't hurt. Put your picture everywhere. Okay. And then be nice. So that's it. 5 minutes over.
Thank you. We appreciate you. This was great information.
Good.
We'll see y'all again next Monday.
Okay. Bye, y'all.
Thanks.